In this lesson, we're going to talk about domain and range for functions. So with domain is our input values, kind of like what we talked about with functions. So input values, or the x, and this always uses the x values. So this reads from left to right, so negative infinity to infinity to positive infinity. A lot of times we see a plus. So let's kind of look at this. So we have our negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, so that is our domain from left to right. The range is going to be your output values. And this is going to read from the bottom to the top. So negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, so let's take a look at this example for interval notation. So if we have this bracket here, then the value is included. If we have a parenthesis, the value is not included. So we use a closed circle in our graph if we're going to have the value be included. We have an open circle if we're going to have the value not included, and we'll use that bracket for our interval notation. This kind of, it looks like an ordered pair. So we're going to start here. We're going to use our domain and we're going to use our x values. And then we'll use our y values. So here we have, we're going to call this a closed circle. And then we'll kind of, let's identify these points here. So this is at negative 310. This is at 310. And this we'll say is at 0, 3. Okay. So we're going to use our x values. We're going to go for domain, our x values from left to right. So what's our furthest spot left? We're here at negative 3. Does it include this? Is it a solid circle? Yes. So we're going to use a bracket. And we're going to put a negative 3 because that's the furthest we go left. How far do we go right? How's the farthest we go right is 3. And is it a closed circle? Yes. So we're going to use another bracket and we're going to put a 3. So it's between negative 3 and 3. With a comma between it, kind of looks like an ordered pair. All right, now we're going to look at our y values. So we're going to look at how far low, from low to high. So how far are we here? What's the lowest? We're at 3 for our y values. So 3, is it a closed circle? Yes, so bracket. And then how far up? We're going all the way up to 10. Do we have closed circles at 10? Yes. We're not going any higher than 10. And it does include those 10s. So that is our domain and that is our range. Let's take a look at increasing and decreasing. With increasing and decreasing, we graph. The graph is read from left to right. We only use x value, and we only use our parentheses, no brackets. So let's kind of see, this is going to go on forever this way, this is going to go on forever this way. So this is our negative infinity, this is our positive infinity. Here we're at 0, negative 5. Here we're at 3, 4. And then here we're at negative 3, 4. Okay, so increasing. When am I increasing? I'm increasing I'm going to kind of highlight my increasing parts here and here. So from this point up to this point, from this point up to this point. So I'm increasing from negative infinity up to -3. Again, x values is all I'm using, and I'm using parentheses. Then I'm also increasing from 0 to 3. And one thing that might help is just kind of maybe circling or boxing in all of your x values to kind of use those. Make sure you just use those. Now let's take a look at decreasing. So for decreasing, it's going to be this section that's blue and this section over here that's blue. So decreasing, I'm going to go from -3 to 0, and then from 3 to positive infinity. And there's my increasing and decreasing. So now let's go ahead and complete this problem, domain, range, increasing, decreasing, for the graph given here. Went ahead and filled in my points and then my coordinates to help us with this. So remember, domain, we're going to use x. So the whole graph from the left, furthest left, to the furthest right for my x values. So here I'm at -6, and it does include that because it's a solid dot, so I'm going to use a bracket. And then my furthest point right here, its x is 3, but it's a open circle, so I'm going to use a parenthesis. For my y's, for my range, I'm going to use my y. So now I'm going to start from the bottom. What's the furthest I am down here low? I'm at -8. And it's again a parenthesis because it's an open circle. How high up? How is the highest point? I'm at 4. So 4, and it's a bracket because I am a closed circle there. So again, increasing, I'm going to use the x. Decreasing, I'm going to use the x, and I'm going to look for those. We're going to use parentheses for all of it, and we're going to look for those parts that we're increasing on. This one's going down. Here we go. This one's going up. So here's an increasing. So I'm going to go from, use my x, use parentheses, x value -2, x value 1. Now I'm going to look for my decreasing. I have 2 of them. Decreasing, decreasing. So parentheses, use the x's. -6 to -2. And then one other one, 1 to 3. So try number 2 on your own, and then we'll check in just a second. Some points, some arrows, if that might assist you. So domain is your left to right for your x's. So we're -infinity all the way to the right. It kind of goes, no, it goes up, but it really goes to the right. This really goes to the left as well. So -infinity to positive infinity for your x. Y's, again, down. So we're going to go all the way forever down and all the way forever up. So -infinity to positive infinity using parentheses when we use infinity because it's not going to ever stop or include a value. And then we always use parentheses with increasing, decreasing. We are increasing in this section, so -infinity all the way up to 1, and then from 1 to positive infinity. And then we're decreasing from -1 to 1.